Hey everybody. Well, that's pretty intense. So I'm Rebecca and I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is the first time going live for YouTube. So I've done TikTok and Facebook both today actually, but I've gone live on both of those platforms a few times. Look over here a second. Wait for some people to join too. Right now I don't have anybody. I was on TikTok earlier today and got suspended within minutes. So it's unfortunate, but it does not surprise me at all based on what I'm talking about. I think I'm going to try. Let's see. No, that won't work. Okay. Check that out. That's pulsating. So I'll wait maybe for a few more people to join, and then I'll give an explanation of what I'm actually going to be talking about, because it's a lot to explain. So I just wait for a few people. You can definitely see some objects. Just so you know, this is a moon of our twin solar system. This is the atmosphere of Attu's moon. We're seeing it start right here. It's pretty obvious. And looks like right here, well, we know underneath Attu's moon, this area right in here is what's called OCG, or Object Cluster Group. Basically, debris passing under planets. So oh hey, Planet X Hunter here. Oh cool. This is the first time I've gone live on YouTube. It's about time. So happy to see you. You're like somebody I've always looked up to, so I'm grateful that you're here. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. In case people don't know where I am, that's where I am. So but I've been, gosh guys, I've been out here for hours and hours today. I came out about noon and went live on TikTok for 5 whole minutes, and they suspended my live for the next 7 days. So I think I don't know why. I mean, it just said community guidelines. I don't know what I actually said, but they were irritated by me. So then I went live on Facebook for about an hour and went home and rested, charged my phone. It's just been a all-around great day. The weather is changing. Like today it's in the 90s, and then tomorrow it will be in the 70s. So that right there told me that we would be seeing some planets, and today did not disappoint at all. I'll be making a video of what I captured earlier, and you will see what I mean. It's just one of those days that you just wait and wait for. So we got Nepicity right here, starts right here. It's been directly across from our sun all day. Nepicity can be either directly across from our sun or directly above our sun. It's flip-flops, one or the other. And the other planets are mostly stay put on their sides of the sun. So just briefly, I'll explain that what I'm talking about is how there is actually another solar system that we're not being told about. It's a binary twin solar system that passes or crosses by Earth every 3,600 years, and they arrived back in 2009. And this is the reason why our sky looks so different. The sun, the clouds, why the weather is more severe and extreme. This is it. This is why. It's because, there's planets that are passing just outside our atmosphere, and they affect all of it. And this is the reason why the government created so many conspiracy theories, because they want people to think all of this is a man-made situation, that it's the government doing all of this, when that's not the case at all. Most of what we see is completely natural effects, totally natural clouds, and because each of these other planets have their own clouds, their own atmospheres. So we see their atmospheres as Earth moves by them. Earth is passing through this other solar system that started back in 2009. So that was a mouthful, but basically, most of the clouds we see are from other planets, and most of the streaks we see are caused by planets and asteroids that are dragging across Earth's atmosphere. And they leave these really long trails behind them, which looks like chemtrails, so they spray to make people think most of the streaks are man-made, or all of them. They want people to think all of the streaks are chemtrails. I can't say that word. We're gonna call it the C word, okay? But anyway, that's what they want people to think. Because if you think it's man-made, then you won't even consider it being something else. So let's take a moment and I'll tell you, like I said, this is from Attu's moon. I wish I could show you the drawing. Samuel Hofman has a drawing that shows this scenario perfectly, but basically it's Attu's moon to the upper left, and then below the OCG underneath it, or debris from underneath. So then right behind Attu's moon is the planet Attu. They go together. So we got Attu peeking out from behind, and then behind that is the planet Uri. Those three are typically always to the left of our sun, almost always, but they never cross over to the right. Okay, Attu and its moon can be above our sun, and it can be as far as the far left. This is the vicinity for Attu's moon, Attu and Uri. The easy part is on the right side of our sun, which is Isatum's moon, Isatum, and Nibiru. And it's always to the right. It doesn't move around. So if you're looking to the right of our sun, you're seeing the effects of those planets. Typically, Nibiru doesn't come out just for pictures by itself. And I'm not talking about a Nibiru idea where it's a tiny planet behind the sun, because that is disinformation to make people think that it's something far away and you got to look for it. You don't. It fills the entire sky. But Nibiru starts at the right of our sun, and it would go this far. Right now it's not visible really, but all that we can see of Nibiru is it peeking out from behind Isatum. That's how that works. So they are, one in front of another. They're kind of stacked. But the effects of Isatum, Nibiru, and its moon can start at the right, and it goes all the way this far. And then we're back over here to Nepicity. So there's 8 planets in all of this other solar system, one of the planets is Imaru, which is, I shared a video intro to going live that shows Imaru really well. You have to check it out. But basically, when you see a halo around our sun and it's a dark area with a rainbow around it, that dark area is the planet Imaru. So Imaru is like a really large gas giant, and essentially it's Imaru that holds our two solar systems together electromagnetically. So it plays an important role in all of this, holds us all together. The flashing, according to Samuel Hofman, the flashing is caused by planets moving around our sun. They're moving, they're pinching our sunlight at times. You'll see a sharp pinch. That happens when planets are grouped around the sun and they pinch what we're able to see. So I'm going to take a second and peek at the comments. I appreciate that. Wow, Dave, nice comment, so thank you. Yeah, looking. Yeah, I sat them for sure. Like, they kind of go through phases, where certain ones will be closer certain days. It's unusual that they're all right here, but they sure can be, especially when it's stormy. It seems like the nights when it's stormy and we see all that flickering, that lightning that just flickers and flickers. That is electrical discharge happening between the planets and larger asteroids. They are repelling electromagnetically to keep from crashing into each other. So they release a discharge, and it's electrical discharge that has been starting these fires that we've been seeing happen worldwide for several years now. We're hearing more and more about it lately. But again, another conspiracy is direct energy weapons, because they want people to think that it's them starting those fires. They would much rather just take the blame for what all is happening over people discovering the truth about these planets. They would rather just take the blame for it, and the reason is mainly because two of these other planets are inhabited, and basically our entire existence is a lie. It's just lie on top of a lie. But two of these planets are inhabited. Those beings needed commodities from Earth, but cannot tolerate our atmosphere. So humans were created to work on factory Earth, because to them, Earth is a factory. And this is where they get, gold, for instance. We hear the stories about how Nibiru needs gold, and well, some of that is true. So, but definitely don't be confused by, Nibiru being this small orb in the sky, that looks like a sun. That is just I don't even want to say disinformation. It's just people that don't know about this other system. They don't realize, and they are passing, bad information. So, cool. Yeah, this is, like I said, this is all right here at Atu's moon, in front of Atu. Earlier today, the crafts were really great too. Lots of crafts. And when I talk about crafts, I'm not talking about UFOs. I mean, those are crafts, but the main crafts from this other solar system, there are squares, they're cubes. there's rectangles, and then there's triangles. So, you know, I'm sure a lot of us have seen square clouds, and, you know, that doesn't make any sense. Well, that's what it is. These are alien operated crafts, and according to Sam Hofman, the cubes are essentially parking garages used to, you know, store and transport the other alien crafts like the lander crafts and things like that. Because he says they most definitely land on Earth, and humans have a on-off switch where they can shut down entire cities. They can just shut it off, turn it off, and they come in and do what they are there to do, and then turn everybody back on. It sounds like a crazy sci-fi movie, you know. Let me get a drink, hang on. But yeah, I mean, he says they don't have to invade Earth. He said Earth is already theirs, you know, which, you know, when I heard that, I was like, okay, that makes total sense. Yeah, been theirs for a long, long time. And them coming to Earth for commodities, he said, let's see, I want to say it's about the last change of hands. So the last time there was a change of hands as far as alien factions go for Earth was about 83 cycles ago. Well, 83 times 3,600 some odd years. You know, we're looking at 250,000 years. So it's a long time that this has been a regular cycle. So I talked to Sam. We talk about once a week or so, and it's just fascinating to visit with him. For those that don't know who I'm talking about, Samuel Hofman, and he is the person that discovered we have this other solar system that we're not being told about. So, and the way he discovered it is really interesting. He was just a junior in high school, 17 years old, and he wrote a term paper where he stated that Earth is actually an electrical universe, not gravitational, and that there are two sets of planets and two suns. That's essentially what the paper said. And long story short, his teacher submitted that paper to a local university, and to have other teachers look at this paper and read over it. Well, a few months go by, and after Sam turned 18 and graduated high school, the government showed up. They got word of this paper he wrote. And basically, long story short again, they forced him into signing a 30-year non-disclosure agreement to keep him from disclosing it, talking about it. He couldn't say a word. And because of the threats they made, he never did say a word. It was pretty harsh. They put him through a lot. I'm just really summarizing it, but what they put him through was terrible. So, you know, he didn't say a word about it for 30 years. And then that's when he knew, though, you know, when you got the government chasing down an 18-year-old to force them into signing something, that's when he knew what he wrote on that paper was true. Like, he knew. And so for 30 years he didn't say anything. Like, really, for the next 25 years he went into complete hiding. Like, he didn't have utilities in his name, lease in his name. You know, he really was hiding out because he did not want them to show back up, because when they do, they kick your door down, you know. But so anyway, he waited till 2010, and that's when he created his group on Facebook, Montana Skywatcher, and then he started making videos for YouTube under Sam Hofman. Unfortunately, he got locked out of that account pretty quickly. He has trouble getting access to a lot of online sites. They still go through his mail. You know, he gets mail that's already been opened. So they do watch him. He's careful what he says because of it, especially when he's talking about alien matters. He doesn't say too much, you know, that could get him in trouble. But he has, you know, easily risked his life to come forward with this information, you know, and the reason he knows so much on top of, you know, the paper he wrote, the non-disclosure agreement, well, there's a big factor is his drawings. You know, if you watch my videos, you'll see I share drawings, and what those are created by him, and he knows how to do remote viewing, and he remote views the details of the planets in this other solar system. You know, I mean, there's just no question he's completely connected to this other solar system. He doesn't know why, it just is, you know, but he's able to visualize details of these other planets, their locations, their colors, the textures of their clouds, and then he every month creates 1 or 2 drawings of what he sees. And if you have spent time, you know, watching my videos, you'll know how accurate his drawings are. Like, very, very accurate. Like, you know, I just recently shared 2 videos. I think, well, they're called highly accurate drawings. And they are slideshows showing what I'm talking about. So if you're not sure, watch those videos and you will see, you know, because these drawings are made in advance, far, far in advance. They don't expire. A drawing that he made 2 or 3 years ago can still apply to what we see today, because these are things that he sees. It doesn't, you know, change with time necessarily. So I get questions about that, and that's the answer on that. They don't expire. But definitely, it's fascinating because of just how accurate they are. And that supports what he says completely. I mean, he's never changed his story once. And all the time he's been, you know, telling people what happened to him and what he knows. So, in short, you know, these planets, they're pretty close. And the reason that they're able to be this close is because it's an electrical universe, not gravitational. So they repel electromagnetically. They can make really close passes, but they won't crash into us. They'll, you know, zap out electricity before they crash into us, which is to push themselves away. Wow. I love it when they're flashing like that. I mean, it's just, I always have videos and make videos that show that happening. Zoom in a second and see what we got up here. Like I said, this area right here is notorious for OCG, or Object Cluster Group. And we can see, yeah, there's a planet just right above the sun. That's why it's flickering. You can see it, right? If I can get it close enough. Right there. Like, you know, looking for dark blue versus light blue is a big help when you're trying to, you know, figure out what you're seeing. Because where the planets are, it's going to be darker blue. And the reason it's dark blue and we can't just plainly see the planets is, you know, we're seeing their dark sides because they're between Earth and our sun. So we see the dark sides. So they can and are just right up on us. and you barely see them. You know, we see their atmospheres and whatnot, but it makes it just hard to see. But we know they're there because of the shadows they create. And you know how they cut into the sunlight, not so much like right this minute, but I have so many pictures showing curves cutting into the sunlight, and half the sunlight's blocked out. So that's what's happening there. Looks like, let's see, that might be the lead object right here. And then right here is where Ice Adam's moon is. And so that means Ice Adam is cutting in just right to the edge of our sun. Yeah. I was looking to see if there were comments, and there are. I don't know. There they are. This is, like I said, the first time I've gone live on YouTube. So I appreciate you all joining and listening. Sam's concept doesn't make sense. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like I said, I could talk about his drawings all day, you know, but unless you take the time and really study them, you're not really going to appreciate what is actually there, you know, especially all the comparisons I've made, because I take his drawings, and then I have a group on Facebook, and I take his drawings and I take photographs that were taken just recently, and I make comparisons where I line them up. I put someone's photograph side by side with the drawing that matches what they captured, and it's impossible to do what he is doing, yet he's doing it, you know. I mean, nobody can draw something that accurate in advance, but he does it every month. So I've easily got well over 1,000 comparisons made, and it's, you know, it's, like I said, pretty impossible that he is doing this. So just that right there, just the fact that he sees it, he draws it, it's there, that's a lot of proof in itself. Not to mention the non-disclosure agreement. You know, I mean, you got to factor that in too. So just because it doesn't make sense, it just doesn't make sense to you, because the proof is there. You know, we have 14 years of photographic documentation that prove this is happening, this is really here. But this is so far out from what we've been taught that it's easy to just dismiss it and assume it's impossible because it doesn't make sense. You got to be willing to let go of everything you've ever been taught. You know, otherwise this won't work in your head, because they have taught us wrong since day one, and it's for things like this, you know. So when this time would come, you know, that people would not believe it. And that's just it. Sam asked him back when he was forced into that non-disclosure agreement, he asked them, so why only 30 years? You know, that didn't make sense to him. Here's what they said. Like, they just mock people. They said, because by the time this non-disclosure agreement ends, it's not going to matter what you say anyway, because no one will ever believe you. They already knew that, you know, they would have the internet released by then, which would allow them to send out disinformation, you know, to everybody easily in the form of hidden truth, or AKA conspiracy theories. You know, make people think that they're hiding something, and this is the real truth. These conspiracies, this is the real truth. You know, if you think that's the real truth, then when you hear the real truth, you won't believe it. It's genius, you know. So anyway, I've been at this, well, let's see, I found Sam on Facebook or YouTube back in 2014, and gosh, at that time I didn't have a clue what he was talking about. But you know what? I could hear it in his voice. Like I could tell that what he was talking about meant something to him, and it was real to him. I just didn't understand it. And then I didn't even join his Facebook group for like another 3 years. So like 2017, I joined his group, and then I created my own group. But it's not because I knew how to see these planets, and it was because I just enjoy taking pictures of the sky, so I created a group to share sky pics. And then over the years, I learned how to recognize the planets and started passing that information along, which is what I do now, but it's for me to just tell you everything that I just told you. It took me 6 years to piece all of that together, like piece it together. And some of it coming from Sam, some of it just coming from me figuring it out because of all the hours I've spent mainly watching time-lapse videos and making videos. The time-lapse videos are very telling. This right here, those streaks are happening because of a planet is, being drugged by. That's what's happening there. I mean, that's not the correct terminology, I know, but I mean, that's basically what's happening, is a planet is moving by and leaving streaks as it goes, as well as asteroids leave streaks behind them too. As they pass by, they leave a long trail behind them. So in this area, we already know, is notorious for the asteroid fields, which are electromagnetically tied to Atu and Uri. So he says it's unlikely that we will experience an asteroid impact, because he said it would take some really chaotic event for them to break loose, because they're connected to those other planets. So that made me feel better. So let me get a drink real quick. Sounds like the main issues we have to, I'm not going to say worry, because I don't like the idea of worrying about something that's out of our control, but what we could see happen is things just becoming more and more extreme, mainly hot temperatures, cold temperatures, and storms, floods, earthquakes, all of those things. It's just going to become more and more. Like Sam was explaining how, previous civilizations, this is why they built underground cities. It was because they had to, they couldn't live on the surface because it was too hot to survive. And speaking of too hot to survive, that's something about the C word. He says that they're kind of like a double-edged sword, because they spray to make it harder to see the curves of these planets, to make them less, visible. So they spray for that reason, but they also spray to keep Earth cooler, because of there being two suns. It would be way hotter if it weren't for what they were spraying. So, but yes, it's totally toxic at the same time. It's a mess. So I don't like it at all. This is interesting. All of this right here, like anything this size and whatnot, that's because of debris. It's all classified under OCG. And some of the asteroids are huge. You know, the leading asteroid is very large. I don't know how large. It looks, you know, bigger than our moon. I mean, it's all of these other planets are many, many times the size of Earth. So we are really small compared to them. So that's why their atmospheres will fill our entire sky. As we're moving past one or more of the planets, that whole side of the sky will be clouds from other planets. That's how it is. Take a second and just see if I'm missing any comments. Beings in the clouds. Oh man, I wish I knew the answer to why there's faces in the clouds. I see them too. I started seeing the faces about 2016, I think, 2017. And it was like one day I was using my photographic filter, like a photo filter app on my phone, and I was adjusting the lightness, darkness, contrast, and all of a sudden I saw them. I mean, dozens of faces. And I was pretty much, sunk into that for a long time. I made 4 videos of just cloud faces, so I was really into it. But for Sam's sake, because he felt like it was not staying focused on the system, which that's really what he was hoping I would do, and which I am, but for that reason I kind of dropped from talking about faces so much. But yes, a lot of people see these faces and they say it's pareidolia, but I don't know why all of a sudden, I'm 50 something years old and all of a sudden I start seeing them, and I didn't see them my whole life, I don't know. But I mean, it's stuff like that just makes me feel like this is so supernatural. Like there's just so much more than we can even comprehend with all of this. So thank you for the live. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'm gonna really work on doing this more often now that it's gonna be cooling down. I mean, it's slightly warm today, but I'm sure a lot of you have experienced the heat dome. I'm in Oklahoma and it's been sitting right on top of my house, the 110 plus degree days, just one after another, week after week. So that was rough. Thankfully, our weather guy says we're done with 100-degree days for this year. So, and then starting tomorrow, it's only going to be in the 70s all week. So I just cannot wait. I'm going to do yard work and things I've wanted to do. So, sun is still flashing really heavily. That's when you know there's a planet right by the sun, above it, around it, all around it. So different ones, because especially at sunset they will group around the sun. You got Nibiru cutting into the right, you got Uri cutting into the left, Atu or Atu's moon just right above, could be Nipicity. That's what's going on there. And I see that pink dot. And about the dot, let's talk about that for a second, because Sam does have drawings where there is a dot in the middle of our sun, and he says that dot is the Empire orb, which is an alien operated craft. It arrived through the Norway spiral. I believe that was like 2012, not too sure, but so yes, there are times when we see a black dot in the middle of the sun. It's not a sun simulator, just know that. The sun simulator, remember, falls into the conspiracy theory category, which is a cover-up, psyop, distraction, make people think that dot is put there by man when, it's really a craft. But when it comes to the pink dot, I mean, I never noticed that until I got a new cell phone. I always seen the black dot, but when I got a new cell phone, it had a excuse me, a pink dot. So I personally believe that the pink dot is because of our devices. Why, I don't know. I may be wrong, but that's just something I've noticed. But yeah, Mexico webcams and whatnot, you'll see a black dot. Just think craft, when you see that. Checking the comments real quick. Asking my thoughts about the moon. I don't honestly know much details on the moon. Most of my expertise is the planets and the clouds, how to recognize and all that. But I will say this, Sam has a drawing from a few years ago. What he says is that behind the moon is another planetary object. He has not come out and said exactly what it is because he doesn't want to say wrong, so he's not totally sure, but it looks like it's probably another moon that is behind our moon. Somebody in my group just a few days ago had a great capture of that, but occasionally, yeah, we get good pictures of there being a sphere peeking out from behind our moon. So it's something, maybe a craft, but I get the feeling it's a moon. So, and that of course affects what we're seeing, how we see it, as all of this does. Checking out, let's see. I see a lot of thank yous, and I appreciate that. I feel like, gosh, I can express this information so much more if I would just go live and talk about it, versus trying to piece it together and in words and video. But definitely going to do this more often. Honestly, I think I kind of had to wait until my understanding caught up, to be able to do this at all, because like I said, for many years I couldn't tell you what was what, because it is very complicated, mainly because each planet each planet has multiple different appearances based on their distance, based on their angles and the lighting. So one planet can have, let's say, 5 different appearances. That means you gotta, learn 30 different types of clouds to be able to just explain it completely easily. So taking a break and looking, that to me, I see a square. So right here. Anytime you see straight lines and sharp corners, what you're seeing is cubed craft. I don't know if I'm in or out, but anyway, looks like I've zoomed in too much. Anyway, but yeah, straight lines, sharp corners equals craft. Yeah, I just see your comment about convincing your brothers. That's cool. Yeah, I'm fortunate. My family is what's the word I'm looking for? Gone blank. But they support me completely. Now my sons are not too sure about it, but one of them, they don't understand what I'm talking about. One of them doesn't want to know what I'm talking about. And then one is interested, but doesn't totally believe me. And I can show him proof day and night, but I don't know. Not everybody, will believe this information. It's a pretty evening, really, the way it's turning out compared to, this morning. The day started off where it was just solid white out, just milky white. And, because I thought maybe because the weather changed, I thought we might get a good picture day. And I wasn't sure when I first saw the sky, but about 11, I started to see the rainbow halo around our sun, and that's a promising sign that we're getting ready to get a show. And it definitely did not disappoint today. I'm looking forward to showing you guys in a future video what it looked like earlier, because it was great. Yeah, I see the part about all the distractions. Gosh, it's so constant, you guys. I mean, if you told me that the reason the internet was created in general, if that was the whole reason, was to distract us from things that are true, let's just say not just this, but truth in general, I would totally believe you, because I mean, they just come at it hot and heavy across every single social media platform there is. It's just, if you type in Nibiru, you get the wrong information. If you type in, sea trail, you get wrong information. I mean, it doesn't matter what you type in. The first 50 things that pop up are wrong. So, and then, finding information like what I'm sharing is next to impossible. I know you all already know, and that's just the way things are. And something else I've learned over time, just having, a big group on Facebook, and then, just dealing with members, joining the group and watching what they say and do. What I've learned is that something called the dead internet theory, which everybody really should know this. You can research that, but basically what that is the idea that most of the accounts across every single social media platform are bot accounts. Like, they're just bots. And they are, they are your friends on Facebook. They communicate with you. They comment back and forth. But there are reasons. It's hard for me to just explain, and I wish I could show you, but there are reasons why. Like for instance, certain accounts will leave the exact same comments word for word, like different accounts word for word with other accounts, and then you start to look at the similarities between those two accounts, and they all have the same kind of posts, same this and that. I mean, it just is. I totally believe that that's the case. Most of the accounts are bots. I'm sure I have several in my group. Once I discovered that, I was, quickly removing them, as soon as I would discover them. Like, for instance, somebody would be a member for 3 years and they've never commented or posted anything, right? Well, what happens is, say somebody post a video or picture that looks like sea trails. Here's this person who's been in the group for years, never commented or posted, and all of a sudden they're going to become active. And what do? They hop in the comments and they say sea trails. It's, or geoengineering. I mean, all of a sudden they know exactly what's happening. And they're always pushing the government's narrative, these bots, Well, I mean, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to steer people into believing their information. I mean, I'm sure people are out there and they will be like, if they see a bunch of bots saying sea trails, then they'll be more inclined to just agree with all the what they are thinking as people, but they're going to agree with the idea of sea trails because of all the comments about sea trails, not realizing they're bots. That's a mouthful, but anyway, I think you all understand. It's just the internet. I mean, it's great, but it's also problematic. I remember a good time before internet and cell phones. You know, it wasn't so bad. All right, let's see. The amount of time and money spent on us not seeing. Oh my gosh. Isn't that crazy? Like, yeah, they are making us pay. They're making us pay to be lied to, you know? That's what's happening. There's a quote by a former CIA director, William J. Casey. And what it says, "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false." You know, I don't know when he said that, but that's been the agenda for a long, long time. Like almost, like always. To me, it's very Truman Show-ish, like, you know, it's just that fake. So, looks like right here, let's look at this real quick. I'm back. I didn't think I could make it back, but I did. Wow. I don't know what happened, you guys. It just said reconnecting and it was spinning like it was not connected to the internet. I have no idea. But thanks for hanging in there. Gosh, but what I was getting ready to say, I thought, seriously, this stuff makes you paranoid. Anytime something like that happens, they're like, they're watching me, out to get me, whatever. But right here, you know, that illumination I was talking about, this is where we see asteroids becoming illuminated. And something like really big you should know. I know we all see the videos where it looks like two suns, you know, or even more, you know, but we see these illuminated orbs. And what that is they're not, yes, we do have two suns, but those illuminated orbs that look like suns are not suns. So it depends on their location as to what they are. So when you see a sun-like looking object to the right of our sun, that is Ice Adam's yellow moon from a distance, you know, and then the closer Ice Adam's moon is, the more moon-like it will appear. But when it's far, far away, it looks like a sun. But that's what that is. And then when we see illuminated orbs around to the left of our sun, those are the illuminated asteroids. So that's what that's about, because we do have a second sun, but it's behind our sun. It's not fully visible even. All that we can see, like right now, you know, see how it's white in the center? It's white, and then there's this yellow glow around it. That is the illumination coming from the second sun. So that's what's happening there. But right here, you can see, I mean, this is like hot and heavy asteroids right now. And then, like, for instance, like, look how it's light blue all right here. It's light, light blue. And then just dramatically, it goes dark blue. You know, the dark blue equals planet, light blue equals sky. And in between are the OCG and asteroids. Looks like, you know, we're seeing all of this horizontal streaking from the left of our sun. That's a Uri thing. I mostly see Uri about this time of day at sunset. Uri is all of this here. when you still looks like a square to me. See how it's straight right here and then corner and corner. So it's crazy I'm sitting here talking about a cube craft. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, am I sleeping or am I awake? But yeah, this is just hard to believe. Like even Sam Hofman doesn't believe it, you know, and he's the person that discovered it and dreams about it and visions it, and even he has a hard time believing it, but he's like, but there it is. You know, like he can't deny it. Checking out the comments to see if I've missed anything crucial. Yeah, I'm actually surprised I made it back on at all, though, the way it was acting. Honestly, I thought I got booted. Like, I was like, not again. Yeah, this is definitely, the more I see what's happening, this is definitely Atu's moon in front of Nepicity, right above the sun. And then we can see right here, I'll try to put my finger on it, right here, this is where Isatum is. You see that curve going up? That's Isatum, going all this way. So we can see, and then we see Atu's moon right in here. And then Nepicity is here. See that straight line? Everybody's like, well, that's just a cloud, you know, but no, it's more than that. But that's why the sun right now looks like it's being sliced up, you know, it's because there's multiple planets cutting into the sunlight. Looks like a frown face right there. Just I'm just saying, I see that. Okay. For sure, look at this. Okay, you see how it's dark blue? Like there's a perfect curve right there. Let's see, I put my finger on it right here. That's the area location for Isatum's moon. So I'd say that's what's happening there. As it gets darker and the sun sets more, it gets harder to see exactly. Earlier, it was just a showtime. I'm sure a lot of you noticed it because it was visible. The same things I was seeing was visible in Canada. One of the members in my group was sharing pictures and she was seeing pretty much the same thing. So, which when you realize how much bigger they are than Earth, it makes sense. You know, we see the same thing across multiple states. But this is, everything I'm talking about is visible worldwide. And, you know, you don't have to try to see the planets. I mean, if you're looking up, you're seeing them. That's just it. Pretty much everything we see is from the other planets. You see a swan? Okay, cool. Oh gosh. I mean, I've seen things that just make no sense whatsoever. Like, it will look like a UFO with windows, and in the windows would be aliens' faces. You know, it makes no sense at all. And they would probably like lock people up for thinking they see that. You know, I don't want to say too much, but it makes no sense. At least I know I'm not alone. But all of this here is the OCG from Isatum. And then this, which leaves over here, just kind of a open slate. Just some randomness, you know, up here. But most of the activity starts here with Atu and Uri. And then Atu's moon, Nepicity above the sun, and Isatum. I mean, this is pretty common for sunset. So you'll know when you're out looking that that's what you're seeing. Looks like, let's see, that probably is the lead object. It's a, you know, we see it's round. The size fits the lead object, the location fits. The lead object is the leading asteroid. It can be anywhere from here to the left of our sun. It can go either side. There's a lot of, signature asteroids that we see repetitively, and that's just it. All of this is repetitive. All of it. We see the same clouds in the same locations, day in, day out. Obviously, regular clouds can't do that. They don't replicate themselves. Yet that's what we're seeing, So that means there's something behind those clouds causing it to happen. Yeah, I see your comment about seeing it for years too. Right. It's like once I'm fortunate, that I learned about all of this right at the same time I found Sam. That's how I learned about it, obviously. But I started sky watching, and then I found Sam just immediately. So I didn't already have any preconceived ideas, and I hadn't got totally sucked into all the conspiracy theories. I totally went down that rabbit hole and studied them all for years. And it's because of that is how I started to discover that, like, all the big time truthers, they're all always flashing their Freemasonic symbolism. And long story short, they're instigators and influencers that are used to push the conspiracy ideas, because those are the cover-ups. So once I realized all that, I basically crawled out of the rabbit hole, because all the major conspiracies are supported by mainstream media. If that's not a red flag, I don't know. If you see an article from the New York Times about the sun simulator, well, that should tell you something. They're pushing that idea, or HARP, or Bluebeam. You can take the time I have, and you can find mainstream articles for all of those conspiracies. And they only push stuff that, is their narrative, what they want you to believe. Look over here and see. Looks like a man riding a rabbit. I bet it is. What if it's a big alien on top of a rabbit? I don't know. At this point, truly nothing would surprise me. That asteroid area for sure. Those horizontal striped effects just above our horizon. That's a key signature for asteroids, are those horizontal lines. Again, the lines mean movement, it means it's dragging by, and that's why their lines are there. I think one of my favorite parts of the clouds is, well, there's a couple. I like those rippled clouds, which they try to make people think is HARP. I like those a lot. Those are Atu's moon. And then Nepicity always has a great show. Nepicity is the planet that we see with storms. So Nepicity and Atu are the main storm makers. But I just like their clouds and colors, and that's just it. Each planet is a different color. There's purple, it's green, there's red, there's kind of a blue, light blue, yellow. So they're all different colors, and even the asteroids are colors. Like, all the pretty rainbow effects that we've started seeing in these last few years, as gorgeous rainbows. Not rainbows, but rainbow clouds, for instance. What that is that's how light is reflecting off of colorful asteroids. So when you see a rainbow cloud, for instance, that's what you're actually seeing, is how light is reflecting off of asteroids from this other solar system. Uri has stripes too, for sure. That as basically all of the planets in some form or another have a striped tendencies, it just depends. But yeah, Uri's stripes from the left of our sun going horizontal. And then, Epicity, it has a horizontal striped band, but it also has vertical stripes. Ice Adam's moon has vertical stripes. Same with Atu's moon. So lots of stripes happening, and it's not all the same planet. It's different ones. Lots of action right here. When I say action, I mean like OCG or asteroids or debris. But that's basically most of the information I know. Like I said, I have a group on Facebook, and I start my day with the group, and I end my day posting to the group. I mean, if I'm not doing something for my family, I'm some way, shape, or form working on all of the information I share, mostly making videos. And it's growing. Like, it's definitely growing. For instance, let's see, in the last 3 years, the group on Facebook has gone from about 3,000 members to 67,000. And now that I'm so familiar with about all the bots being out there, I'm so careful and I'm so selective on who I add, for that reason. So it's slowed down just because I'm not adding as many as I used to. Looky here. See how it's cut into our sun? See how there's like a flat edge right into the sun? That's from the Epicity. It's like gonna cut into our sunlight. It's never, well, I'm not gonna say never, because there are instances where middle of the afternoon, daytime, will go dark in about 20 seconds. There's videos out there, they're hard to find, but they're out there where it shows it daylight and a few seconds go by and it darkens to nighttime, like dark. And obviously that's the planet has moved in front of our sun. But most of the time that doesn't happen. Most of the time it just cuts into it like this right here, or cuts into the sides, and you'll see half the sun. And let's zoom in and see what else is going on. Yeah. See how distorted that is? Yeah. Honestly, it looks like it's struggling. I feel bad. I don't know why, but it just looks like it's having a hard time there. Interesting texture. All of this right here is asteroids, and typically with Ice Atom there is a rectangular craft called a long box cube, and that could be it right here. This is the location for the long box cube. So when you see a long box cube with Ice Atom, usually you'll see a cubed craft with Atu's moon over here. And there's a drawing that Sam has that shows that perfectly too, where it's a cube craft and then a long box cube. So that's something we see all the time, really. Checking out the comments. Yeah, definitely a lot going on in the sky. The cloaking, I don't know about, cloaking as in what they're spraying. Yes, for sure. Like, they are doing their darndest to physically hide, break up the curves. Like, we're seeing one right here. If you see it, I've tried to point at it right here. So this is Atu's moon. Now that's easier to see. So Atu's moon is that curve above the sun, and the Pisces is going straight across. So that's what's happening at the moment. It changes. It's fleeting, and the moment you see something, great, it will be gone in a minute or two sometimes. The track system. Okay. Yeah, well, whatever floats your boat, it's like, whatever. I don't know about track systems, but I definitely don't believe in flat earth, if that's what you're talking about. I mean, I just don't. So, I did for a minute. I kind of believed in flat earth for a brief moment, and I was even, seriously, before I got as far along into this as I am, I was in all the sea trail groups, the geoengineering groups. Like I said, I was in that rabbit hole, and I thought the conspiracies were hidden truth, and I was all over it. So yeah, I mean, you have to be willing to just let go of that information to really understand this, because it doesn't work together. This doesn't work with flat earth theory, How long have I been doing this? I've been doing this, well, I found Sam Hofman in 2014. So that's when I first became aware of something like another solar system. But I didn't really start to get to a point to where I could identify what I was seeing until about 2020. That's when I started making comparisons and sharing them with the Facebook group. And really, what I did initially is each time I'd see Samuel Hofman comment on what something was, I would screenshot it and make myself like a little flashcard. And I'd have it to help myself remember, what something was, what it looked like, and what it was. So everything that I'm telling you right now took me like 6 years to just piece it together. And there is nowhere you could just go read it and learn it real quick. There's not. The only information is word of mouth, which is, what I'm doing, what Sam does, because there is no written place. Now you can hear Samuel Hofman has a playlist of interviews, and you can hear him explain things. And there's a YouTube channel called Radio Wasteland. And just remember, they have a black and white logo because there's two. But anyway, Radio Wasteland. And click on their playlist tab and scroll down till you see Samuel Hofman Nibiru update. And there is about 80 some odd videos that you can listen to. There are interviews that they have done with Samuel Hofman over the last few years. So interesting is the last video that channel has was from 6 months ago, and it was Sam's video. I mean, he did a video for them. It says part 1, and there's never been a part 2 shared, and there's never been another video on that channel. So it's strange, and people have tried to message them and ask about Sam's part 2 video, but no response. I don't know. Makes me think maybe something happened to that person. I don't know. But like I said, there is no place else to find this information. I mean, just me standing out here in the open field talking about it is about it. Or you can join the group on Facebook. I share information and examples every day. And then Sam has a group on Facebook, Montana Skywatcher number 2. That's for the new people, Montana Skywatcher. And now he does have a channel on YouTube that he cannot access anymore. It's called Sam Hofman. And I would definitely recommend going and listening to what is there. Like, start with the oldest videos first and then work your way up. There's not too many, maybe 10 videos, I don't know. It's sad because for the first few years he was disclosing this information, he made about 200 videos for YouTube, a lot. And he had a person helping him at that time, because something about Sam I haven't mentioned is he has like these electrical issues. Like, he's always had these issues where he would fry electronics. If he touches certain electronics, they fry. He's been through multiple computers. He cannot use a cell phone or put one in his pocket. It will, because the battery drains like in minutes. So for that reason, he's had helpers, and so this person was helping him post videos to YouTube. And long story short, there was a trivial disagreement. Trivial. And that person, with the stroke of a button, or tap of a button, deleted all 200 videos. Just gone. And that was some great information. There's like a couple that got copied and are still floating around out there, but otherwise they got wiped out, which is a sad situation, But so that's about it. That's about the only places that I'm aware of where you can find this information out. So basically, it's very hard to find. So just the fact that you're here right now hearing it is pretty cool, because you can't just hardly go out and find much about it, other than what I share, what Sam shares. Watch woman sup my friend. Hey, what's up? Things are good. Yeah, Uncle Skin. Okay, I'm on the East Coast. 2 years now underneath these orbits. Yeah, for real. Just checking out any more comments. Looks like, won't be too much longer till the sun totally sets. But it's getting better over the last few minutes. It's like as the gets ready to completely set, it's going to go out with a bang. And then tomorrow it's supposed to be rainy, which rain is a big part of the planet Nepicity. We see those terrible floods, the ones where cars are washing down the streets, and that is a effect of the planet Nepicity and the rain bombs that it causes. And it's also called microburst. You can Google a microburst and it will show you that, and that's from the planet Nepicity, how it's interacting with our atmosphere. And then that terrible earthquake in Morocco a couple of days ago, that tragic, reminded me of the one in Turkey a few months ago. Just you never know when it's going to be a day where something like that happens. And it's happening all around the world. You just don't know when it's going to be a day when it could affect you. Oh yeah, China too. Oh my gosh, I know. I've been seeing the videos of China. I can't imagine. And it seems like China has had more than its share of problems like that. It's like they're in a hot spot for problems. I'm in Oklahoma and it's pretty peaceful. It's just been hot, but we had a pretty decent sized storm come through a couple of months ago. 100-mile-an-hour winds. Pretty much the whole city of Tulsa lost power, which is pretty big. You couldn't find a business open for a few days because nobody had power. So that was one of the bigger storms we've had here lately. So it just interesting, all this Uri situation happening. That's Uri. All of that here. And then, like I said, above the sun, up here, Atu's moon. Focus. And then right above the sun, and I mean right above, cutting into the sunlight, Nepicity. But that's basically it, guys. Hard to believe that that's what I'm out here talking about, but that's what it is. Really a dark blue over here, almost a purple blue. You know, it could be because Atu is purple, and it can create a really purple sky. And I mean really purple. Like there are pictures, videos of where the sky is legit purple, you know, or I've seen green sky, red sky. I'm not talking just a hint. I mean, it's completely red, like a Crayola, red. It's hard to believe. And the media will say, you know, they'll put like these stories across the internet saying, you know, a pink sky is from a grow light at a marijuana dispensary, or, you know, grow. Yeah, anything. They'll just say anything. So, oh boy, they'll say anything to try to explain it away somehow or another. Just desperation talking. Something right in here. You know, you can see a glow right there. This is where we see Ice Adam's moon illuminated right in here a lot. This is the location for Ice Adam's moon. Oh, hi, Celie. I just saw you don't have Facebook or cell phone, or you do have Instagram. Yeah, I'm not on Instagram yet. I have not ventured that far into. I should. If I'm making videos, I might as well put it on Instagram too. But I'm happy you're here. I'm not too much younger than you. I'm 54, so yeah. But you're welcome. I appreciate you listening. And Zira, baby, I appreciate your nice message. You'll keep your eyes open. Good. Yeah, I mean, hopefully just listening to this show tonight will help you better understand just how, you know, big this all is, how we're not looking for small planets where you need a telescope. I get that question often about telescopes, and oh, you do not need a telescope unless you're trying to see like a sidewalk on another planet or something, you know, because they're like huge. Like I said, 2 of these other planets are inhabited. You know, we know. And Sam Hofman, he has met 3 different alien races. So he has off-world information, and which some of this information is, you know, something I hadn't mentioned was, you know, he discovered this other solar system in 1978, and in 1980 he signed that non-disclosure agreement. Well, in the mid to late 80s he was abducted. Him and 2 friends, they were abducted out on a camping trip, and they were abducted by a Pleiadian. You know, the Pleiadians are supposedly from the future, and they told Sam that Sam is actually in their history books. Something pretty interesting that he's in their history books, that he is known to be someone that changes the way people think. That was what they told him. He is, changes the way people think and how they think about things. And that could be because of how, his discovery about how we actually live in an electrical universe, not gravitational. That could be part of it. It could be, just the fact that enough people learn this information to realize just how big and deep the lies actually are from the government. I don't know. But one thing the Pleiadian told him was the names of these planets. That's where the names come from. It's from this other being. All I need is a P1000. Okay, I just now saw that. I don't know what that is. Probably wasn't for me, but we'll see. Yeah, it's been known for a long time. Like I said, this happens approximately every 3,600 years. So that part about, Zechariah Sitchin talking about the crossing every 3,600 years, that is accurate. But I don't have much to say about Zechariah Sitchin, anyway, because I believe that he was let's say how to word it, a Jesuit-controlled Freemasonic puppet. So there's plenty of pictures and videos of him doing Freemasonic handshakes, which are significant, Of course, they show us because they want us to see it, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, the idea of there being a Nibiru or Planet X behind the sun is just wrong information. It's just not right. And it would be like them to want to make people, be looking behind the sun for something when all along the planets are right in front of your face. That's just how they are, how they do it. Something interesting right here. You can see like this patchy effect. I can see it better further away, I think. I don't know. A lot of times I can see things a whole lot better when I take pictures and video, but seeing it like live, just through my eyes, it's tricky. But we know just by the location, this is Ice Adam's moon territory and crafts and debris. So just look for the eyes, pause, then zoom in. Right? I understand that. Yeah. What's crazy, now listen to this. I mean, when you talk about eyes and faces and whatever, it's endless. But when you zoom in and you start dissecting, what you're seeing are like clusters of asteroids that somehow supernaturally create the shape of a face, or like you said earlier, a bunny riding an alien riding a bunny. I don't know, but you know what I mean. I mean, what we're seeing are asteroids, and the same goes for dragons. People talk about dragons in the sky because it looks like a dragon, but no, we don't have dragons flying through space. It's not a real dragon, but what it is and what started the lore of dragons is OCG, which is the cluster of asteroids. These asteroids literally will take on the shapes of a dragon, swirling through the sky. That's why all of the ancient artwork and whatnot will show you know, the sky what they saw were dragons in the sky, but what they were really seeing were the asteroids. So I thought that was really interesting. Just checking to see if there's anything else notable. I'm probably going to close the live out here in just a moment. Where's your website? What you got? Okay, I don't know. Some people get triggered with this information. You know, I don't know what to say. I mean, either you're open to it or you're not, you know, and if you're not, then it's wasn't meant for you, really. But I trust what I see, you know. I mean, we can see this, and I can see the drawings created by Sam, and I can see how they match photographs taken by somebody else on the other side of the planet. You know, I mean, there's a lot more going on than a lot of people will be willing to accept. I like this here. This right here is like interesting. But what, you know, the yellow area is our atmosphere, and then see how it's just going straight across right there. Yeah, that's where Nepicity starts in. And then right here looks like probably the lead object, the leading asteroid. And then planet from there up. You know how you look, there are times when the clouds looks like they just go straight up, like you can just, you know, look straight up, and it's as far as you can see these strange clouds, you know. Well, that's when you know you're seeing a planet. It's really close and you're just looking up at it. But that's, I think I've told you all everything I know. Almost. It's like 6 years condensed into an hour and a half. But I definitely plan on doing this more often. Anytime I get the chance and the sky is looking awesome, I plan on going live and helping other people learn what they're seeing. Watch woman, I love that. That's cute. And discernment always, yes, yes, yes. I appreciate you all. Yeah, all right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end the live here for today. And I just want you all to know how much I appreciate you. I'm going to be working on more videos, and I'll be at least putting something out just showing what the sky looked like earlier today, so you all can see how cool it was. It's been a great day. I've been out here most of the day. It's been that great. So anyway, but I'm thankful that this event has brought us together. I mean, I've made some of the best friends through all of this. So, I mean, it's just meant to be. So, I'm happy. Very happy that it's worked out the way it has. So, anyway, I'll go ahead and close off here, and we will chat again soon. So, thank you all so much, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.